This is a true number one receiver that is going to not just lift, fantasy teams, but lift the Vikings as a whole. I think he's a transformative talent. Like he is legitimately that good.
Look at the release.
There's your separation.
Great route.
Stutter and go. Gets by clean.
That is unbelievable.
Maybe the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Here is a guy, as a rookie, 1,400 yards, the third most among wide receivers last year, 125 targets, 88 receptions, 7 touchdowns. This dude was an absolute breakout, an absolute stud. And of course, no surprise, a lot of his reception perception metrics kind of jump out.
This guy, obviously, if you just looked at the numbers, like you said, the stats were impressive. He was awesome. But I think reception perception really shows exactly what he was good at, which was basically everything. I said this in his reception perception profile. Justin Jefferson essentially had Odell Beckham's legendary 2014 season. It was just without all of the dramatic moments, Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth losing their mind on a catch against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. I mean, he was that electric, though. We're talking about a player as a rookie who finished at the 91st percentile in success rate versus man coverage, 96th percentile against press coverage. Again, this was a guy who primarily lined up in the slot in college. No, in the NFL, he was winning short, deep, intermediate, outside, against press, against zone, against man, winning 50-50 balls. I mean, there is no limit to what this player can do. He was a guy that didn't even start the season. He was playing, below a full snap share the first couple of weeks. Then he comes out there in week 3. I think it was one of those crappy AFC South teams, either the Titans or the Texans. Actually, I think it might have been both of them back to back. He just started hitting them, with those quick hitting patterns. And it was immediate that, okay, he can win in that way. But that's kind of what we saw at LSU. We saw him as that quick route runner that could get open on those crossers very cleanly for Joe Burrow, while Jamar Chase was the outside the numbers dominator. But as the season went on, like you said, the success on the 9 route, the success on the post route, those started to show up, those bigger plays as well.
To your point, you talk about the breakout game for Justin Jefferson, week number 3, as you mentioned, a crappy AFC South team. That's true. Took on Tennessee, 7 catches for 175 and a touch, man. This dude was absolutely balling out of control.
There are no limits to what this player can do. When you're talking about fantasy, he's right up there in that tier with the A.J. Browns of the league. This is an offense that wants to run the ball, all of that, but those layup play action throws that they give their receivers in Minnesota, there's just so much room for Jefferson to eat this year.
By the way, we joke around about him being great everywhere. Well, hey, listen, when I look at success rate on the routes, right? Top 5 in success rate in 5 different categories. He's top 10 in success rate in 9 out of 10 categories. This dude was a top 10 receiver everywhere. He was unbelievable. I think the only category where he wasn't top 10, he might have been top 11. Look, this guy was an absolute stud, an absolute baller. And I will also say this, Matt Harmon, and I want you to kind of fill in the details here. He was the only player to be top 5 on the slant, but also top 5 on 9s. Very interesting player, Justin Jefferson.